feel like the longer it is you go without having a relationship, the harder it is to actually imagine yourself in one and to be able to understand how to actually coexist with another person in that kind of way. You know, like when I was a teenager, or say up to about year 20, that sort of thing to me felt natural. It felt natural to try and go out and meet people, or, you know, text people multiple times a day. And now it has got to that point where I wouldn't even really know how to communicate with people. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm emotionally dependent on somebody to feel like stable or to feel happy or anything, you know. When you spend enough time alone by yourself, you sort of learn how to cope without other people. And you don't end up relying on other people, but it's sort of like existing with other people in a relationship sort of thing, whether you're living with them or not. You know, you have that kind of dependency emotionally sort of to a degree where, you know, a lot of the way you feel relies on how well things are going with this other person. And you put a lot of mental thought into it. At least that's how I was, you know. I couldn't really come to terms with the idea of a prolonged loneliness, but these days I've gotten to the idea where I wouldn't actually understand how to even get back into a relationship if I was to meet somebody. You know, I would almost be like, have to talk to them about, like, how do we go about this, you know? Do I have to see you a certain amount of time a week for this to be considered to be working out, you know? Or how many times a day do you text somebody? As horrible as it is as well, doing everything by yourself, there are certain parts of the relationship that are really nice, but, you know, when I was living with my ex for a while, I realized how horrible it was being in a house with somebody that I argued with all the time, and sometimes I legitimately didn't want to get out the car after I came back. And after we split, I ended up just liking my peace because I could go out whenever and I wasn't bothering the other person or whatever. But that wasn't a nice relationship anyway. But my point really is that if you spend enough time by yourself, you know, it sort of changes you. Yeah, so I could not imagine myself actually even going back into a relationship. I don't understand how people can go, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years of their life being in and out of new relationships. Now I'm so sort of detached from it that I wouldn't even know how it even works. But at the same time, I feel like I've learned to live without it. It just makes you sad, really. It's like something that you really want, but you know at the same time, you probably wouldn't even know how.